Welcome to Business Incubator, where we interview some of the top industry experts about the relevant strategies that you can use right now to continue growing your life and business. I'm Kat Halushka, and today we have Debbie Cantin. She's passionate about helping women reach their full potential. Debbie has lived a life of service to others while raising 2 children as a young widow. She knows that it feels like what it feels like to be stuck in a dead-end job and knows how to get unstuck. She is fearless and has dedicated the rest of her life to making the world a better place by influencing positive change, the evolution and empowerment of female energy on the planet. And today we'll be talking all about living out loud all by yourself and how to stay inspired, connected, and focused, even in the time of pandemic. Welcome, Debbie. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thanks, Kat. It's great to be here.
So let's just dive in, because I know right now a lot of people are on self-isolation. You're on day number 14. For me, it's day number 11. So it's driving me crazy already. And I know a lot of people feel like their energy is lower. They don't feel like doing anything. And it's becoming really tough to stay inspired and focused, especially in your business. So what are some of the tips that you have for us?
Well, to stay inspired, one of the things that I've learned over the years in business is that it's very important to have written down goals, so that I know where I'm going, and to read them aloud at least twice a day, morning and night. What that does really is it organizes your brain to search for solutions to make those goals happen. So I've seen the value in having written down goals and reading them, and I find myself being more inspired when I've got my goals in front of me every day. The other thing I do, I'm very big personal development proponent, and years ago I heard Zig Ziglar talk about having a university in your car. So he talked about people driving back and forth to work, and so now I'm not driving anywhere. I thought, well, I could make my house a university. So, and then think about, what kind of people, if your house was your university, who would you want to teach you? And then read books by those people, by those authors, or listen to CDs or Audible. For me right now, it's John Maxwell on leadership. And every day I read one of the 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class by Steven Siebold. And those really keep me inspired to keep moving forward, thinking in the right direction. I also have learned just recently but I love listening to music, and I haven't done that for a long time. And so I recently thought I need a song that's going to inspire me to action. And that's what I teach my team. I pick a song and listen to it every day. In fact, I set mine as my alarm every morning. And right now I'm listening to the song Brave, because it does take a lot of courage to reach out to people in this time and try to work your business into conversations. So so those are some of the things I do for inspiration. I also have really started to use Zoom very effectively. I'm lucky that I work in a business where my leadership was very on task. Like right away, they started doing everything by Zoom, training, our presentations, everything was by Zoom calls. And so they were on the ball. I didn't have to do anything there. Just invite people to listen to the training and the presentations. So, but what I found is Zoom has really helped me stay connected to people. I'm a very big people person. Staying home is not my thing. I can stay home, but I really love connecting with people one-on-one and, in groups and things like that. And I'm finding this very difficult, but Zoom has really helped me. I do team calls once or twice a week to stay connected to my team. I use Zoom just for other connecting with women that I know. And I've just recently learned you can actually have a party on Zoom.
Yeah.
We had a red dress party the other day. We all had a drink and we all talked about, what we're doing to stay brave in this time. And so I've started to be really creative about how to use Zoom. And one of the ways is I'm having I play cards every once a month with a group of people, and we're going to do cards by Zoom. Not cards that you play a game of cards, but I have a deck of cards that are questions. If you were going to have a nonprofit organization, what would it be? So you can have a conversation with people. Everybody has a drink and maybe a snack, and then you have a little party, and you feel like you're staying connected. So I really like that. I use Messenger and FaceTime with my grandkids. That's one area that I'm really missing, because I love sitting and hugging my grandkids and tickling them and playing with them. So that's been really a challenge for me. Another thing I use for staying connected is WhatsApp. I have a team WhatsApp where we really have conversations on there. Other group discussions, other women's groups that I have, we do WhatsApp to stay connected. And then the thing for me is really to pick up the phone and make some calls and talk to people and ask them how they're doing. People need that personal connection. And I think hearing somebody's voice through the other side of a phone, it can be really meaningful. And so that's one of the things that I challenge myself to do every day, is make a few calls to some of my clients and just some of my friends that might be struggling, and family, that kind of thing, to stay connected. I think, and I was listening to Oprah, and she was interviewing Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist monk, and he talked about doing compassionate listening. So phoning people and asking them how they're doing, and then just listening to them, not trying to fix it, not trying to make it better, but just listening to them. Sometimes they'll vent, or sometimes people have a different perspective than you do, and you might want to argue the point. It's just really about sitting there and listening with compassion. And a lot of healing can take place if people are allowed to just vent and not have to feel like somebody's trying to fix them all the time. So I really like that perspective that they were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I find when I focus on other people, I find it easier to not worry so much about what's going on for me. So,
for sure.
and I feel like I'm making a difference too, which is big for me.
I find that staying connected right now, as hard as it can be without in-person connection, it's so crucial.
Mm-hmm.
And now without the travel time, we have just a little extra time that we can spend connecting with our loved ones, or even with brand new people, right?
Yes.
We actually moved all our networking events online, and we maximize it. So we do it once a week to continue grow connections, because it's so important for the business, for the life, for the sanity, to continue growing your network, right? But let's talk a little bit about keeping that focus, because I know for me, it wasn't a big change going from self-isolation to my normal, or opposite, going from my normal day-to-day to self-isolation, because I have a home office. And so my home office is my work sanctuary per se. And so I already worked here, and I have the mindset and the systems in place for me to have that focus. But a lot of people don't have that. And a lot of people now have whole families and kids at home, and focusing is becoming harder and harder. So what are some of the tips that you can give us there?
Well, I would say this is my biggest challenge, because I am not used to working from home. I know I've learned a long time ago that I need to go to the office, have a place to go and do my work. And so working from home has been a big challenge for me to stay focused, because I love to crochet, I love to bake, I love to cook. And those things can take priority if I don't stay focused. So one of the things that I like to do, I believe strongly, like I said, in personal development. So it's really about staying focused on me personally, in the sense of if I find myself wanting to go and crochet, for instance, I ask myself this question: well, what is that about for you, Debbie? Like, why are you wanting to go and do that instead of do what you know you need to do to move your business forward? And the answers to that question, it can sometimes really reveal what's really truly most important and what's not. So I've learned, I had an experience last year just by asking myself that question. I had a monumental change in my perspective that will forever change my life, just by asking myself that question. So it's a question I've learned over the course of 25 years of personal development, that question, when I say, what's that about for you? And I am honest with myself with the answer, I can have some really serious in-depth learning about myself. So that's really been important to me this week, just to ask, so why is laundry all of a sudden so important, Debbie? Yeah. So it's really just a strategy I use to get to know myself and to really identify the things that are really, truly most important to me. Another thing I do is I make sure I have a to-do list. At the end of each day, I ask myself this question: what did I do today to move my business forward? And if the answer is nothing, then I make a commitment to have tomorrow be better. But it's really nice to be able to sit down and go, well, you know, I moved my business forward by this, this, and this. And then I ask myself, well, what can I do tomorrow to move my business forward? And I make a list of those things. Mm-hmm. And I have a to-do list, usually of 5 or 6 things, not so many that it's overwhelming, but enough that I know I can, if I accomplish them, I'm going to feel like I've really had a great day. Another thing, and that's, it helps me get closer to my goals, the end result of the goals that I want. One of the things I've also learned is that having an accountability partner is very important to me. Yes. I'm one of those types of people. I can make all the lists in the world, but if I'm the only one that knows about my list, then it's very easy for me to not to procrastinate on my list. Mm-hmm. And so I basically told someone what it is that I'm going to do, and then I make sure every day that I send a message, done these things, and let them know that I've done those things. Let's see. Yeah, like if I say I'm going to do 5 calls, I phone, or I'll send a text, 5 calls done, that kind of thing. I'm more likely to do it because I've told somebody, which is, I know it's kind of backwards. It shouldn't be that way. And so what that tells me is I have more work to do around being, keeping my commitments to myself. So it's always been a struggle for me. So it is something I have to do. And the last thing I would say around staying focused is to make sure you have a mentor, someone that you respect and trust, and that you would be willing to do what they recommend. You have to be willing to reach out to them. No, I've had mentors in the past where I'm a type of person, I can do it on my own. I can figure this out. Oh, he's just going to say this anyway. I know what he's going to say, so I'm not going to reach out to him. But it's still really important to hear those words. Sometimes I think a mentor will either, give you some great suggestions or the kick in the butt that you really need. And I sometimes do need that kick in the butt. So those are just 4 of the things that I think work for me when it comes to staying focused.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Debbie. And I know all about accountability. I have a business partner, and I think that's the only thing that's moving me forward at some days. Because we keep each other accountable, so that's amazing. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your genius. Very much appreciated. I know our audience got so much out of this. And for those of you who are watching and listening, if you are looking for a mentor, if you're looking to start a business, have a conversation with Debbie. Below, we're going to drop a link for you to go ahead and schedule that call. You're going to have to go to her Facebook page and send her a private message. It is available only to those who will mention this Business Incubator series. So make sure to mention us, and you'll get that free, no obligation call with her. Again, thank you so much, Debbie. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Hey, thank you. Bye.